What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a bit of information about Sands of Salzaar. And that is, of course, that the game is launching in full on December 16th. Now, unbeknownst to most of the people who watch this channel regularly, I have covered this game before. In fact, Sands of Salzaar has been in early access for quite some time. I believe it originally launched in early access in September of last year, and my channel didn't start really getting a lot of traction until the beginning of 2021. But nonetheless, I was still actively growing at this time, and as a fun fact, Sands of Salzaar is actually the very first review key this channel ever received. So all of that said, I actually do have a video explaining kind of the ins and outs of the basics of this game, and that, combined with the fact that the launch update is actually going to be bringing significant changes, means I don't feel that there's much of a point in rehashing that particular content, but I will link that video down below if you want to watch it. Again, it actually still holds up. I double checked while I was making this video, but nonetheless, I will of course give a basic overview, and then I want to talk about some of the changes that the launch version of the game is actually going to bring. So Sands of Salzaar is like a weird strategy game meets open world action RPG almost. It's very hard to describe what this game is with those typical genre buzzwords, but basically you'll be making a character, and then that character will land in the Sands of Salzaar, which is of course the world, and there is a story to the game, of course, which is all about stopping an invasion of Ifrit, which in this universe are a race of monsters, if you want to call them that. But Sands of Salzaar sees you building an army, taking over territories, conquering tribes even, as well as just engaging in the open world, alongside that broader narrative of, again, the Ifrit invading. In addition to yourself, you will actually also be building up armies. There will be characters, which is the character you make at character creation, as well as heroes that are found roaming the open world that you can befriend and recruit or make enemies out of. So you, the heroes, as well as troops that you can recruit through various means, make up your armies. You can have multiple of these going, which will then guard your territories, etc. And you use these armies to engage in sort of action RPG style battles to ultimately win the war against the Ifrit. So that's kind of the basic gist. Now, the launch version of the game is actually going to see significant changes. For starters, a new game mode as well as difficulty settings. So the way it works currently is that the difficulty is kind of based on the class you are playing, which will still kind of be true at launch, meaning that the class you choose at character creation and its playstyle is going to dictate a bit of how hard the game is because of the nature of the action RPG style. However, the game is getting difficulty modes, easy, normal, and hard, which weren't present in the early access. The new game mode is called Sandbox. This is actually interesting to me because it is going to remove the story from the game. However, it keeps the last battle against the Ifrit. So that part of the game still happens, but the rest of the game becomes this free flow of you dominating the Sands of Salzaar before this battle. In addition, they're also adding a bunch of quests that kind of streamline the beginning of the game, because if you're unfamiliar with the game, the introduction can be a little tough to get going because there's not a lot of structure to it. They don't really give you a lot of pointers or anything, so the first few hours can be a little rough for newcomers, and they're adding a bunch of quests designed to kind of smooth that out and point you in the right direction. They're also completely reworking the classes, as I just mentioned, giving them all new skill trees, things like that. In addition to this, they are also reworking all of the heroes, which are the people running around the map that are uniquely named that you can find. They're reworking all of them and their skills, and they're completely revamping the UI. So it will look a bit different than what you are seeing here. Now, all of that said, Sands of Salzaar is an indie game. It is $15. I believe that will probably also still be the launch price. And given its very cheap price, actually, combined with the fact that there is a wealth of content, some of it is dynamic and changing, multiple difficulty modes, a lot of replay value. The game is kind of designed around replaying it several times, which you can then stack difficulty levels on through their legacy system, which are basically points you earn by playing the game that you can then spend on subsequent playthroughs to increase the difficulty or give yourself an advantage. mix and match classes, that type of stuff. So while truthfully, I don't think Sands of Salzaar is ever going to be some giant blockbuster of a game, it is nonetheless a very cool game for a very cheap price, and I think more people should check it out, honestly. That said, honestly, I'd wait until the 16th when it actually launches in full at this point, but I think it's an interesting title, so I wanted to share its launch date and everything with with you guys, so hope you enjoyed it. I will actually be reviewing this game after 100% like I do with most games. At some point in the future, I actually already have most of the achievements from where it was in early access, but it will likely take me a little while to do that as I am kind of bogged down in games to play right now. But there you go, guys. Sands of Salzaar. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.